Hi, this is Jack Stanley, and I wanted to talk on another subject dealing with the phonograph in its beginning days, and that is the phonograph, recording, and death. Very diverse topics, but very interesting if you think about it. When Edison first invented the phonograph, and they looked at the indentations that were caused by a living person, there was a question asked that would those indentations disappear when the person died? Well, of course not, but you know something? It has always been an area of interest when it comes to the history of the phonograph in the way that the Victorians and Edwardians looked at the whole affair of death and the ability to hear the voices of those that no longer existed. If you go back to the beginnings of sound recording, that was one of the major questions. And even when Edison talked about the invention of the phonograph, one of the 10 things he said that machine would do would record the last words of a dying person. Well, you know something? That's not something that was done commercially. I'm sure some people tried it. But the thing is that when a great recording artist died, it had a profound effect on so many different things. Of course, Frank Banta, the pianist and also the conductor of the Metropolitan Orchestra, would die in 1903. It would be the end of the Metropolitan Orchestra, but all of those recordings in which you can hear him calling out 1, 2, 3, and they still exist. And in the Victorian age, since Frank Banta was not very well known by his name, they didn't make much of it. But the next victor artist of real note that died was Tamagno, the famous tenor. Now, they had just worked out a deal in 1903, and I think they did some more in 1904, with the Gramophone and Typewriter Company making recordings. And, well, Tamagno was a very tight individual. Every record had to be numbered as to the number had been sold. He wanted to keep track of it all. Well, by 1905, he wasn't going to keep track of it at all because he had died. And the Victor Company and G&T went out of their way to find interesting ways to market a dead singer, something that really hadn't happened. And they announced that Tamagno is singing to you today from the grave. Oh, how Victorian, or Edwardian that is. But it sold a lot of records. And you know, when many other great singers died, or performers, instrumentalists, speakers, there was always that thought that they live on because of their recordings. So, recorded sound and death have had a very interesting relationship. I must tell you that today, my record collection, there's not a soul who's alive in my record collection. It's pretty amazing. It's a necropolis of sound, a city of the dead. And that's what recording is, and it's a wonderful thing. You know, when you think about it, how death and life and recording have all worked hand in hand, and that the dead live on, and they talk to the living as if they were here. That's what makes the phonograph so incredible, so amazing. And the whole idea of recorded sound was such a miracle to the people of that time.